What should have been Drew McIntyre's British Bulldog at SummerSlam 1992 moment turned out to be his British Bulldog at One Night Only 1997 moment. What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. It's so great to be back here with each and every one of you. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe and enjoying a beautiful afternoon. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed a fun afternoon of pro wrestling. This is the first time I was able to actually sit down and watch the entire non-traditional premium live event time slot, if you will, here in the US this mid-afternoon, which is usually an impossible slot for me, but thankfully it happens to be Father's Day weekend, so we made some arrangements to make sure that was possible. Took the kids out early this morning, got all of our activities done, and then we all sat down to watch what I thought, in all honesty, large picture, was a fun show with just a brutal ending. I mean, an all-time bad ending, in my opinion. I guess let's just start right there. Let's get into it here. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. In my opinion, match of the night. Really enjoyed this match. Thought they went out there and just absolutely killed it. Give Priest a lot of credit. He's had two really tough spots. Last year in Puerto Rico against Bad Bunny. Now this year in Scotland against Drew McIntyre. Has absolutely no problem being the most hated man in the room. But, you know, leading into this match, you had obviously the unfortunate news about Drew McIntyre's wife, that she unfortunately had to go in for emergency surgery. So Drew comes out and he dedicates the match to his wife. He wraps up his wrist tape, puts the K on his wrist. He's in his hometown trying to make good from the last time when he came up short in the UK over at the first Clash of the Castle. Here he is returning home, the conquering hero, reestablished himself, just signed back with WWE. This is supposed to be his crowning achievement moment. This is supposed to be the make good. And I have no qualms about the last time that they were there. I thought that him and Roman had a great match. I didn't even absolutely hate the finish, because obviously there's a bigger story of Roman keeping the belt and introducing Solo Sikoa as a part of the bloodline. I absolutely hated the idea that afterwards Drew McIntyre kind of got on the mic and was like, "Oh, shucks. Well, we had fun, didn't we? Let's all sing songs with Tyson Fury, who couldn't even be bothered singing this song with him." Awful. I thought that was just so bad. I honestly, they should have just cut to black there, and I thought Drew was dead in the water. But here we were. He's reestablished himself. I think he's probably the most momentum he's ever had, returning back home, dedicating the match to his wife, and not, you know, if he went out there and lost, and they decided, you know what, we're really serious about Damian Priest's title run. We want to have a match that's going to basically put him over the top as a legitimate champion, and he's going to win this match clean. No Judgment Day, no nothing. He's just going to come out there and win it clean. I think that would have went a long way. Honestly, when Priest kicked out of the first kick there from Drew, I thought that was going to be. I thought, wow, they might actually give Damian Priest the win here. Let's just hope it's clean. And then they decide they have the backup official run out, and I will say this was done so well from a camera perspective. They had the camera up top, filming the entranceway. Out comes an official. They had the camera behind him. 1, 2, and I was like, is that John Cone or is that CM Punk? Because at that point I was like, it might be CM Punk. But he goes for the 1, 2, and then he just stops with the cover. So Drew had him beat, and really just ends up not being able to. Obviously, then Punk comes in. He's now the most hated man. And there were still some folks who were really stoked to see CM Punk, but for the most part, the win was just out of the sails. You had fans there doing their Undertaker streak ends, huge shocked face. And even after all that, I still thought, all right, Punk comes out, he costs Drew the match, and ends up, at the end of the day, I still thought Drew was going to win this match. And I thought, what a moment it'll be when Drew kicks out of Priest's finish and ends up getting the big win over Priest, still now with Punk kind of standing there with no choice but to watch him get his crowning achievement moment. I thought that would have actually been an incredible story. Instead, Priest hits his finish one time after Punk gives Drew McIntyre the low blow, and that's a wrap. It's done. Priest holds the title up, and Drew McIntyre, I am stunned. They're even doing a press conference after that. I mean, to me, I get people are saying, oh, there's a story here, let's let it play out. Listen, I don't care if you want to give Priest back the title on Monday. Like I mentioned on my little preview show I did with Steve, at the end of the day, Austin losing the title to Kane was a huge surprise at King of the Ring 98. No one expected it. and then Kane lost the belt the next night. But it didn't matter. He still had that moment. You could have given Drew the moment, and then you could have had a rematch on Monday night and have Damian win it back or someone else do it and Punk cost Drew the title then. But to have these fans come back out for the guy for a second time, and again, he falls short. And it's not even for a guy. Let's be honest. I'd be stunned if Damian Priest is going to be your champion going into SummerSlam, because the win did nothing for him. Just furthered the deal between Drew and Punk. It's not like after this Priest looked like he was a conquering champion. It's not like afterwards you thought Damian Priest was going to be something that you could really get behind as a champion. I'd be absolutely stunned if your match at SummerSlam is Damian Priest and Gunther. I mean, that match still doesn't make any sense. We obviously still have Money in the Bank to get there. I assume someone's going to win Money in the Bank, probably cash it in on Priest, or Priest just loses it in some sort of match to get to probably a babyface against Gunther, which would make the most sense. So it's not even like this did anything for Priest. Priest felt like The Miz coming out of WrestleMania 27, where you just wanted to see where it was going to go with The Rock and Cena and didn't care about the fact that The Miz was still the champion. Except for those folks who did guarantee they'd jump off the balcony if Cena won the match at WrestleMania 27. I'm sure they were happy they didn't have to follow through on that. Well, that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I just did not like this finish. Did not work for me. I thought it was just really bad. And honestly, you had such a great babyface story for Drew McIntyre at this show, and I understand it's more of a hometown thing, and in the States, he's a big heel, but he came across all weekend like this was going to be his moment, this was going to be his time. Punk's already cost him the title at Mania. He could have just easily cost him the title again down the road before SummerSlam getting to their match. Fine. But I think at the end of the day, this has just left such a sour taste in my mouth and I wonder if any folks are like me, like if I'm going to Raw in Corpus Christi on Monday in Texas and CM Punk comes out, I'm booing that guy. I'm not happy with him at all. He cost Drew his big moment. Like at the end of the day, yeah, Drew might be a heel, but he's a heel that I feel like a lot of people respect. We all know his story. We followed his journey. And I can't believe that they were short-sighted here, because Punk's such a big babyface. He's such a big merch mover. I don't think the plan is to turn him heel, but I will say that, man, it may have done that. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how the fans of the States obviously respond to Punk. I'm sure they'll still love him, but you never know. This might have done some damage to Punk in the States. There might be some fans there that are not thrilled with what we just saw, like myself. So we will see where things go from here. Damian Priest still your champion, but again, he comes out looking like this didn't do anything for him, when if they wanted to really go with Priest, you could have done something for him here. Let's get into the rest of the show, because again, I did think this was a pretty good show. Unfortunately, my prediction of AJ Styles getting that one last title run did not happen. I hoped he was going to beat Cody Rhodes. Again, the problem with the new regime is that they're always thinking big picture, right? And that's great, and it does allow for some incredible stories. Like clearly, WrestleMania 40 ends with just this amazing WWE Avengers moment that doesn't happen unless you've built up the most amazing title reign in recent memory with Roman Reigns. So I get all of that, but at the same time, there is something to be said for a fun title change. And even though it wouldn't have made too much sense to have Cody finally complete his story and then lose the belt to AJ Styles a couple months later, I wanted it to happen. I thought it would have been fun. Instead, that's not the way they went, and Cody did beat AJ. Good I Quit match. Both of them took it to each other. Mama Rhodes got involved a little bit, but not over the top. Listen, I love Mama Rhodes. I don't want Mama Rhodes to be Super Sock Jose Lothario to Shawn Michaels here for Cody. It's fine that she came and she's in his corner, but she didn't really get too involved, and I don't think you need to have her, certainly not be like a manager for Cody moving forward. I think where she was fine, and her involvement was great. So at the end of the day, Cody does get the big win. Great weekend for Cody. I thought actually as champion, I thought him crowd surfing at the kickoff event was a lot of fun. Him, harkening back to his days at the Bullet Club, realizing he's going to have to turn to that version of Cody Rhodes to be kind of a little more of that hardcore, have that more of an edge to his character, because he has been a little bit of a cookie cutter type of character in WWE. I thought told a fun deal and a good story there. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes with Cody. Obviously, the big news coming out of it is as Cody's winning, he's standing at the ramp, and who should come out but Solo Sikoa. They kind of had a face-to-face, and then obviously the new bloodline kind of beat Cody down for a minute, only until Owens and Randy Orton should have his back. Not loving the idea. I'll be honest with you. I like Kevin Owens a great deal. We're not doing nearly enough with the guy. The guy's main evented 2 WrestleManias at this point. and we have him walking around in a Scotland 316 shirt. He's what, Tommy Dreamer? I mean, we could do so much more with him, and he's got to move off the bloodline. He main evented the Royal Rumble 2021 against Roman Reigns. This feud has been going on and off for over 3 years, and I don't think he's ever gotten the upper hand. It's time to move on. But my thought is that actually they're going to go with Cody and Solo at SummerSlam, which will be interesting. Certainly not. I don't know that I'm necessarily feeling that match. I don't know that I've been too overwhelmingly excited about Solo Sikoa matches. But that being said, it does look like that'd be an interesting piece, at least from a storyline perspective with the Bloodline. I assume what it looks like is you're going to get the new Bloodline in a 6-man against Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens at Money in the Bank, which is an okay deal. I mean, I think that match probably should happen on the TV leading up to Money in the Bank, and then hopefully they get Solo and Cody out of the way and route to SummerSlam, but that's probably where they're going. I bet you have a 6-man at Money in the Bank, and then Solo and Cody at SummerSlam. I'm not sure I'm feeling that for a Cody match at SummerSlam. Should probably have a bigger match, but they're doing what they can to really build up Solo, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where things go from here. But again, a great match. I'm not sure what you do with AJ Styles after this. Michael Cole said, "Where does AJ go from here?" And I was like, beats me. I'm not too sure. I don't know what you do with him. I think honestly, he's a solid heel, but he comes across very well as a babyface. He presents incredibly well. He was doing some really great work, I thought, at the kickoff event, talking about TNA. I think you could easily flip AJ back to being a babyface and maybe going after a different, I don't know what you do, but it'll be interesting to see, because I don't think there is a direction for AJ right now. And I just hope it's not another, hey, how much time does he have left storyline? We just had that with Edge for years. We just had that with John Cena. Please, let's get something else here for AJ Styles. He's still awesome in the ring. Really great match between him and Cody. Would have loved the trilogy. Flip the title here. Cody gets it back at Money in the Bank. Just wasn't in the cards. Really good match, though. And I like that AJ quit, because he knew that, like, hey, if he didn't quit, the big Stephs were going to cream him in the middle of the corner, and he really didn't have any choice. He was kind of screwed. So I like that portion. I like when they do I quit matches like that. Moving right along, I thought, honestly, instead of the main event, my second favorite match of the night was Jade and Bianca going up against the Witches and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I don't know why I keep calling them the Witches. And then Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. And I wasn't too sure why they made this a triple threat, but I guess it was to protect Jade and Bianca, get the belts off of them and over to Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and do so by having Alba Fire and Isla Dawn pin, I guess, Shayna Baszler. Poor Shayna, another loss for her. But in doing so, they got the titles out of nowhere. I did not see this one coming. I did not think they'd take the belts off Jade and Bianca like that. I was honestly, I was thrilled, because I do think title changes happen so infrequently that getting one here was a really cool surprise. And nice moment for the hometown crowd. And I think it was Cole or Graves, like, I wonder if this will be a sign of things to come. I was like, this might be the only thing to come. I just thought that might have been the moment for the hometown fans to get that big hometown pop, to get the win, to get the title win. I didn't see Piper beating Bayley, and that was the first time where it clicked to me that, like, maybe they're not going to give Drew the title here tonight. But honestly, great moment for them. Really good. I know they talked a little bit about how they've been going through some personal struggles. So for them to get that moment and to do it in front of their hometown crowd, and then to get the flowers, and their family were there to greet them, this was just incredible. And I'm excited, because I do think there's a lot they can do with both Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and they haven't done too much with them since coming over from NXT. So to have them as a legitimate tag team holding the titles is great. And I'd love to see an extended feud with Shayna and with Zoe Stark. I think the plan for Jade and Bianca has always been to eventually have them go head-to-head. I thought they'd hold off till Mania, but I do think you still got a little bit of time here before SummerSlam. I'd buy into Bianca and Jade having their match at SummerSlam, if that's where the card should be. My son completely agrees. So, moving right along here, it was Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Chad Gable. This was another great match. Real technically sound match, which you haven't seen too frequently in WWE. So when they do it, it's a good change of pace. Chad Gable really channeling some of his Kurt Angle type work here. And I will say, it was announced earlier today that Chad Gable has re-signed with WWE. That is just great news. I think he's picked up so much momentum. I think he's so hot right now. Would have loved to see the title change here, but I felt like this part of the story, and Steve and I talked about it on our preview for this show, I thought this part of the story called for finally Alpha Academy to leave Chad Gable. And it didn't really have, we didn't have your moment where Otis laid him out or anything like that. But Chad was really coming down hard on Maxine Dupree, and Otis kind of helped her, took her to the back, and didn't care that Chad lost in the process, even though he was still a little hesitant. So that one, I like this story a lot. I'm interested to see where it goes with Gable. And I think at some point, Gable is going to get that Intercontinental title. I do think he's going to get a new group and leave the Alpha Academy. And when he does, and when they debut, I think they're going to help him to get that Intercontinental Championship. Maybe at SummerSlam. That would be quite the achievement for him. I think the world of Chad Gable. I think the sky is the limit. I'd love to see Chad Gable and Cody have a program at some point. And I thought tonight was great. I think Sammy has some, he's been having a really good deal here with the Intercontinental title. It kind of felt like this was not much to do with Sammy, so throw him in there with Gunther when Brock Lesnar fell through, and he's really made the most of this run, and certainly this feud with Chad Gable, like fun mid-card feud, and I've really enjoyed it. Thought the match was really solid, and Sammy continues his run as the Intercontinental Champion. I'm sure there's a lot more here, and I think one of the cool things about Gable is he's so upset with the Alpha Academy, and it kind of makes sense. They haven't really done much for him, right? I mean, they were tag champs, but other than that, and that was a long time ago, for a long time, they have not done much for Chad Gable's career. They've let him down consistently. So even though he's being mean, at the same time, it kind of makes sense why he's growing frustrated with the group. So I have no problem with it, and I enjoyed the entire story here and the match itself. Last match on the show, Piper Niven and Bayley. Thought they had a really good match. Great showcase weekend for Piper Niven. I thought she came across so strong and so well, and certainly you could have flipped the title to her. That being said, I do think Bayley is somebody they have high hopes for as the SmackDown Women's Champion. I think that by having such a small amount of matches on these premium live events, Bayley has not had the showcase that she should. And so with that being said, it made sense kind of keep the belt on Bayley. But I do hope Piper Niven continues her run. I hope they realize this weekend they have something with Piper Niven. Bayley and Nia Jax should be good at SummerSlam. You couldn't have gone in a different direction there. I actually would have liked, I think there's some story to be told with Chelsea Green being elevated as a top heel, and maybe if she had cost Piper Niven the match, I think that would have been good for her. But I guess what was coming in the main event made sense for instead it to be, a clean finish. And but again, I hope Piper Niven continues to get the momentum, because I do think she's solid in the ring. I think she's got a really unique look to her. And as you saw all weekend and over these last couple of weeks building this match, also a hell of a promo. So I thought it was a great weekend for Piper. Would have been cool to see her win the title, but at the end of the day, I actually don't think the loss hurt her here at all. So those are my thoughts on the show. Let me know what you think. Am I just cranky? Maybe. I shouldn't be, right? It's Father's Day weekend. I should be pretty stoked. Got 2 great kids, but hey, I have a beautiful wife. But at the end of the day, I'm a little cranky. So it is what it is. A little disappointed with the finish today on the show. Let me know if I'm out to lunch or if you agree with me. Either way, it's all the same. It's all love. And I'll see y'all in the next video.